And then we had Vicious versus Planet X. Now, in this match, it was definitely back and forth. You never knew exactly for the temperature who was going to win. No, Vicious got some great offense. Planet X got some great offense. But in the end, Vicious won because Samoa Joe came out and screwed Planet X. Basically got him in the Conquista clutch. And that slowed down Planet X enough for Vicious to capitalize. Hit him with the last rights and pin him 1, 2, 3. And basically Samoa Joe, obviously pissed off that Planet X eliminated, Samoa Joe back at Square of Despair, and obviously Samoa Joe pissed off and screwed Planet X out of the match. But as Samoa Joe ended, you can see Samoa Joe eyeballing Vicious. So who knows what all that's? I don't want to know what that's. I'm sure that was nothing, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, and then we had a backstage segment between the Enforcer and Regina, where basically the Enforcer was trying to negotiate with Regina to allow Pink Angel to get a shot at the Women's Championship, to make it a triple threat match at Love at First Fight for the Women's Championship. And at first Regina was totally against the idea, but then there was an awkward silence for a second, and then Regina said, "Okay, you know what, Enforcer? You know what, Nick? Fine, Pink Angel, she can have her title shot. Fine, at Love at First Fight, it will be a triple threat match between Pink Angel, between Stacey Hardy, and the Women's Champion Laura Hardy. So now it's going to be out of nowhere. It's going to be a triple threat match between Stacey Hardy, Laura Hardy, and Pink Angel for the Women's Championship." And so I don't know what made Regina, change her mind to agree to have Pink Angel, in this match. So it's going to be a triple threat match at the First Fight now. And then we had a scene with Al Gore talking strategy with Andorra and gentlemen of Au Natural. Basically them talking about how they should take out Black Rose and Athena, because there was Athena and Black Rose who basically said to Al Gore and Au Natural that they were cowards, that they were frauds back at Honai Bash, and they've been waiting a long time to face them. And since we found out that at Square of Despair that Al Gore is in cahoots with Regina, that they're she's her closest, that we found out that Al Gore is Regina's closest confidant now, basically saying that Al Gore and Au Natural should team up. So now Au Natural is now working in cahoots as well with Regina and Laura Hardy at this point. So obviously bad news for anyone who defies them. So bad news for Stacey Hardy, for Blue Angel, Pink Angel, and Athena and Black Rose. Okay, and then we had the tag team match between the Angels, Angelinas, and Pink Angel taking on Stacey Hardy and Laura Hardy. And in this match, it's basically a clean match. Despite the match having these 4 participants, this match had a clean finish. Believe it or not, Blue Angel got a pin on Laura Hardy to win this match. So obviously Laura Hardy, on the downside, going into the First Fight, definitely gonna have it at a disadvantage. Not having any momentum whatsoever, as she's gonna defend the title against Stacey Hardy and Pink Angel at the First Fight. So who knows what Laura Hardy's gonna have to do to stay on top that night. And then we had a franchise player. He basically cut a promo, basically asking the UWA fans to forgive him from his actions back at Gang Warfare, and basically said he said he's sorry he did what he did. If he can go back in time, he would undo what he did. And then he said, I don't expect all of you to forgive me, but for those of you who don't forgive me, those of you who question me as a wrestler, as an individual, as a warrior, I'm gonna prove you all wrong at Love at First Fight when I face the Destroyer and defeat him in his hometown of Heathens Row. He basically said, I know I'm gonna be at a huge disadvantage. I know that those people in Heathens Row and Destroyer's hometown, they're a wild group of people that are definitely gonna be booing my ass out of the arena, definitely all before the Destroyer. They're definitely gonna riot if they see me win. And you know what? He basically said, those people in Heathens Row, they better get ready for a riot, because I'm going to give the Destroyer hell, and and there's no way I'm going to let him defeat me at Love at First Fight. Because after all, I'm the main eventer at Pandemonium, and you know, I'm going to prove to the world that I deserve that spot at Pandemonium. I'm going to prove that my win at Square Whisper was not a fluke. Okay, so then we had Spike versus Vampiro, and basically this is the final. This was the second semifinal match in the title unification tournament, and Spike and Vampiro had a hard-fought match. Vicious came out to the ring. It looked like he was going to get involved, but he didn't. He basically sat outside as he watched Spike defeat Vampiro. So now it's going to be Spike, the Underground Champion, face Vicious, the West Coast Champion, on the next episode of Assault after Love at First Fight in a best 2 out of 3 series. Then, of course, those titles will be unified into a new championship. So I guess finally Spike will face Vicious finally, once and for all, on the next episode of Assault. Okay, and then we had a scene backstage where Samoa Joe was facing the Destroyer. We had Samoa Joe getting ready for his match later tonight. Then out of nowhere, the Destroyer, the steel chair, comes out and attacks Samoa Joe. He hits a steel chair, hits him in the legs, kind of like weakens his legs, and injures Samoa Joe slightly, to kind of give him a disadvantage going into the main event later here tonight. And then we had an awkward scene between Ursula Ariano and Mona Loca. You know, basically their cultural rival has something to do with this animosity between Ursula Ariano and Mona Loca, but despite that, basically Ursula Ariano, Mona Loca, of course, asked her why she hit her with the East St. Louis Superkick, her own partner 2 weeks ago, and Ursula Ariano said, "I don't need a reason. And no one needs a reason to kick your face at Mona Loca. We all know how you are backstage. You're a bitch. You're a slut. You're a whore. The typical, insult, basically." And I mean, there's speculation that backstage, Mona Loca was secretly seeing Ursula's boyfriend backstage. That was never really proven. There wasn't really enough evidence to prove that. But Ursula, in her mind, believes that she did, and she caused the breakup between Ursula and her ex-boyfriend, and obviously, Mona Loca or Ursula's not going to live that down, obviously, and take her frustration out on Mona Loca. And also, not to mention, Ursula feels that Mona Loca is taking her spot in the Double X division, and so I don't blame Ursula for doing what she's doing. She has to do what she has to do to maintain her spot in the UWA. And then we're going to see with Coco and Jeff. Where basically Jeff was saying to Coco, this is going to be our last time we're going to see each other before we get married at Love at First Fight. Of course, Coco was saying, I know I can't outside, and I'm glad you asked me to marry you. I mean, I always had feelings for you, and I believe you're the right one. And the elders in our tribe, she said, they're against our relationship because you're not part of our tribe. But I don't care if they think I'm in love with you. I'm not gonna let them stop us from getting married at Love at First Fight. And then Jeff also said, Coco, nothing's gonna stop us from getting married. But I have a feeling in the pit of my stomach that something not right something is gonna happen. But so basically Jeff thinks he's just nervous. You know how men are; they get cold feet before every wedding. So this Jeff getting cold feet basically. Okay, and then we had a scene between Ross, River, Mitchell, and Gene Starwind talking backstage. Still, they can't get over what happened last week where Ross cheated to defeat Gene Starwind to get the second spot and the one-way ticket winning the bank ladder match. And then Gene Starwind basically said, no, I can't believe you did that to me, Ross. I mean, we were friends. I never would have, I would have done this to you. And basically, Ross said, "You know what, Gene Starwind, we all know what kind of person you are. You would have done the same exact thing to me in that match, except it was just me who did it before you did it to me." And then Gene Starwind said, "You know what, Ross, I'm gonna let you in on something. I was offered a lot of money to be a part of this new deal. I have this new gig now. Someone's paying me a lot of money to do this new gig. So unfortunately, Ross, and you're not a part of this new gig. I am. So you know what? You can do whatever you want, Ross, but I have other obligations right now. That's basically what Gene Starwin said to Ross, and they went away, and then we had a match between the Enforcer and Filmo for the third spot in the one-way ticket Money in the Bank ladder match. I love the first fight, and basically this match went back and forth. I mean, Filmo and the Enforcer, these two guys know each other really well. They of course know each other really well inside the ring as well. But in the end, Filmo came out on top. So Filmo is going to be along with Ross and Lord Magma in the one-way ticket Money in the Bank ladder match, and then Ross comes out and does a stare down with Filmo. At the same time, Lord Magma, the lights go out, then the second lights go back on, everyone is laid out. Ross and Filmo are all laid out, and as soon as the lights are up and no one's around to be seen.